Joining us from Chicago, Michael Callans, who's the president of Wonderlic, and he tells us, tell us about this. I never knew that NFL players took an IQ test. I knew they were running and jumping and all that kind of stuff. What kind of questions do you ask?
Well, the questions, they vary. They start at the beginning very simple, and they get more difficult as you go through the test. There's 50 items on the test. Start off with questions that are simple math and language, vocabulary type questions, spirals through spatial reasoning questions, logical reasoning questions, and eventually gets you to some pretty challenging algebraic type formulas.
What exactly, I guess the general managers are looking at this, maybe to understand problem solving kind of things. But what kind of role has this played then in determining where someone is picked in the draft? Do you have cases where this has actually moved someone down or moved them up?
Well, I can't talk about the scores and how they're used, specific people in the NFL, but just like any business, the NFL wants to make sure they're making the right hiring decision with salaries ranging from $400,000 to an average of $1.9 million. These are pretty expensive decisions to be making, and as an employer, they want to make sure that they're reducing the risk of making a bad hire. So they use this as a piece of information with all the other information that they're collecting during the combine and during the draft period. Now, obviously, athleticism is the most important thing to look at, but when you hold athleticism constant with such great quality of athletes and skills, you're looking for every piece of information you can, and someone's intelligence and problem-solving skills is one of those things that is important out on the field.
What about emotional tests? I know that that's becoming a bigger part in a lot of other businesses, because it's one thing to have this fantastic IQ, whether it's football IQ or just general IQ, but how do you use it emotionally, particularly with some of the bad PR we've seen coming out of the NFL lately?
Sure, you've got to look at the whole package. So you look at a person's cognitive ability or intelligence, how bright they are, they make good decisions, and emotional intelligence, or EQ, sometimes it's referred to it as, are you emotionally connected well to people? Are you making right choices as far as that's concerned? What are your interpersonal skills? Do you have conflict? And employers are looking at those multifaceted aspects of a hire of a person to see if they're the right fit for the job.
Before we let you go, can you tell us has anyone ever aced the test? And if not, who's got the highest score, who's got the record?
Well, the only one that I can talk about is because he got a score. It's been pretty well publicized, and he's willing to talk about is Pat McInally with the Cincinnati Bengals. He was a punter. He graduated from Harvard, a very bright person, and he's been very bright and successful since then, starting a real estate firm and doing quite well. So that's the one person I can tell you who's aced it.
All right, cool. Thanks.